All right, here is Terror at Bottle Creek, Chapter 10. Monday morning, the hurricane was still 100 miles away, but I already sensed it. The sky was a gray blanket of clouds easing strangely east to west, and the air was wet and thick. The Tenshaw was 10 feet high above the normal high water mark, heavy and calm and patient. The only noise was that of a few seagulls keying and flying lazily upriver. Otherwise, there wasn't a fish popping the surface, not a leaf trembling, not even a crow calling. The animals felt danger approaching, and their absence left an eerie stillness hanging over the swamp. It was nearly 9 o'clock, and Dad was sleeping in again. I stepped off the houseboat and looked over the landing, heard Francie squeal, and turned to see her playing with catfish near the launch ramp. She saw me and pointed at the dog. "He won't let Elmo ride," she said, laughing. She was trying to put the doll on his back. Catfish moved a few paces away, being patient with her but not willing to play her game. I crossed the boardwalk onto the riverbank. "Stay close, Francie," I said. "It's about to storm." She approached Catfish again, and he dodged her once more. "Sit down," I said. "He'll come up to you." She sat, and she put Elmo on her lap, and I started uphill. Lisa opened the door, still in her pajamas. "No school," she announced. "I know," I said. "Still, got a lot of work to do, though." I followed her into the kitchen. The house was strangely dark and quiet inside, with the windows covered. Mrs. Duval came out the hall with a towel on her head. "Good morning, Court," she said. "Would you like some breakfast?" "Sure," I said. "We're moving a little slow around here today." "That's okay, so's Dad." Lisa opened the refrigerator and peered into it. "What do you want, Court?" "Whatever," I said. "It doesn't matter." She got a carton of eggs and a package of bacon, and she set them on the counter. Mrs. Duval brushed past her, set the skillet on the stove, and turned on the burner. "Did you see Francie out there?" Mrs. Duval asked. "Yes, ma'am. She's playing with catfish." I sat down at the kitchen table, and Lisa sat across from me. I can help get ready today," Lisa said. "Whatever we need to do." "I'll go into town to get some canned food and jugs of water," Mrs. Duval said. "Anything else?" "You might get flashlight batteries and some mantles for the propane lanterns. We'll need insect repellent too." Mrs. Stahl placed several strips of bacon into the skillet. In a moment it was popping and sizzling. As the savory smell of it filled the kitchen, I took back to cold winter mornings on the houseboat when the windows were glazed over with ice and the propane heaters hissed and warmed the room. It was when Mom was still around and Dad cooked breakfast for the three of us. It had been a long time since seen him cook anything. After breakfast, Mrs. Duval got her rain jacket off the back of the chair and her purse off the sideboard. I heard rain pattering the roof and a couple of hickory nuts thump and roll off. "Make sure Francie stays close," she says. "Okay," I said. "We'll keep an eye on her." She started out the door, and I got up to took my place to the sink. Took my plates to the sink. Lisa came to the counter and started washing the dishes. "I better go see if Dad's up," I said. "Okay," she said. "I'll come help after I finish the dishes and get dressed." "Put on a raincoat," I said. "Sounds like the rain's already here."